you drive a Cadillac, a Chevrolet, or a GMC truck or SUV. General Motors is recalling nearly 600,000 vehicles.
The company saying that the V8 engines can fail without warning, raising the risk of a crash.
Tucked behind polished chrome grills and proud tailgate badges, a silent problem is stalking America's highways. Brand new Cadillacs, Chevrolets, and GMC trucks, vehicles marketed as ironclad workhorses, are rolling off lots with an invisible timer already ticking. Some owners discover it the hard way. 1 second, they're cruising at 70 miles per hour. The next, they're coasting through traffic with zero power, praying the brake pedal still feels firm. Officially, nearly 600,000 vehicles are under review. Unofficially, the number could be far larger, and the stakes far deadlier. You might assume a swift recall means the danger is handled. Yet service bays are quietly filled with engines torn apart while neighboring trucks, built on the same assembly line, drive away untouched. Why are some VINs flagged for urgent surgery while others slip through on a technicality? And what's really hiding inside the pages of those confidential engineering memos that never make the evening news? Dealerships talk about software updates and oil viscosity adjustments, as if thicker lubricant can silence a design flaw. But insiders whisper about corporate spreadsheets where warranty payouts are balanced against potential lawsuits. Lines of numbers deciding whether your family's SUV gets a lifeline or a shrug. If that's true, how many more engines are slated to fail before anyone sounds a louder alarm? Here's the part that should keep every driver up tonight. Rival brands are quietly battling their own sudden death engines, from Ford's EcoBoost timing chain snaps to Stellantis' overheating V6s. Is this a nationwide epidemic of rushed technology and cost-cut shortcuts? Or is something even bigger driving the gamble with consumer safety?
Which models are ticking time bombs? Why did executives sign off despite red flag test results? And how long before regulators force the truth into daylight? Stay with me, because the answers, when they finally surface, will change the way you start your car tomorrow morning. Imagine the biggest football stadium you've ever seen. Packed wall to wall, every seat filled twice over. That's roughly 600,000 people. Now, swap every person for a Cadillac, Chevy, or GMC with the same V8 heartbeat. That's the official recall list. Sounds huge, right? But here's the curveball. Leaked warranty spreadsheets hint the real problem pool could stuff 10 of those stadiums, maybe more. How many engines have already tapped out? No one outside the factories knows for sure. GM's public count sits comfortably in the low thousands. Independent shops, insurance adjusters, and towing logs whisper a scarier score: tens of thousands of silent death engines. Many never reported because owners traded in or paid out of pocket. Think about that math for a second. If 74 trucks roll onto tow beds every single day, the failure tally climbs past 27,000 in a single year. So why don't those bigger numbers show up in glossy press releases? Warranty databases are sealed tighter than Fort Knox, and defect codes can be massaged into less alarming language. An engine that grenades at highway speed might be tagged noise, vibration, harshness, customer states ticking. And when a lifter shatters, but the dealer installs a new short block under goodwill, it quietly disappears from recall stats altogether. But it gets crazier. The VIN range GM flagged for repairs cuts off arbitrarily. 2 trucks made on the same day can end up on opposite sides of the line. One owner gets a free engine, the neighbor next door, nothing but a shrug. How did that boundary get drawn? Who signed off on it? And how many more failures must pile up before the real scoreboard lights up in public? Keep that thought. The next numbers will make this stadium comparison feel tiny.
Rush hour, Atlanta. Jim Peterson's Silverado coasts to a dead stop as semis thunder past within inches. 2 states away, Sarah Winters is driving her kids to school when her Yukon dies mid-merge, forcing her to shoulder check in pure silence while traffic swirls like a river around a rock. A week later in Colorado, delivery driver Chris Nguyen hits go on his route. 15 minutes later, his Escalade quits on an uphill grade. No warning lights, no countdown, just a jolt, a stall, and a line of honking commuters. 3 everyday trips, 3 sudden engine blackouts. And it isn't just long-haul miles. Emma Thompson bought her Tahoe on Friday, packed for a weekend lake run Saturday, and by Sunday, she was stranded at a rest stop off I-40. Odometer, barely 800 miles. Jason Reed's Suburban lasted longer, 35,000, before sputtering out in rush hour Chicago. leaving him steering a 3-ton paperweight across 4 lanes with no power assist. He's still replaying that slow-motion slide toward the guardrail in his head at night. But wait, this next part stings even more. Some of these owners got full engine swaps, free rental cars, and apologies. Others were told, can't duplicate the problem, drive it home. What decides who gets help and who gets the good luck handshake? Mileage? Build date? Or something buried deeper in the fine print? Keep that question close, because the pattern inside these roadside rescues and rejections will set the stage for what's coming next. Picture the engine as a giant metal orchestra. The crankshaft is the drummer, pounding a steady beat. Pistons are dancers, moving up and down in perfect time. Sitting on top are tiny gatekeepers called lifters, little metal pins that decide when each dancer can move. GM's fuel-saving trick tells some lifters to take quick naps, so the engine burns less gas. It's like asking certain drummers to stop mid-song, then jump back in on command, over and over, thousands of times a minute.
Every nap means a lifter has to pop open, slam shut, pop open again. Imagine bending a paperclip back and forth, non-stop. At first, nothing happens. Keep bending, and a white line appears. Bend it a few more times, and snap, it breaks. When a lifter snaps, it chews up the camshaft, which is the engine's main timer wheel. One broken lifter can spread metal shrapnel like confetti through the oil passages, starving other parts and shutting the whole party down in seconds. Oil is the blood that keeps everyone alive, but these engines need that blood delivered through hair-thin tunnels. A single grain of sludge or a tiny machining defect is enough to block the flow. With no oil cushion, metal, that grind creates more metal dust, which clogs more passages. Cue the domino effect. Lifter fails, cam scars, valves miss time, pistons crash, and the engine locks solid. Silence at 70 miles per hour. Here's where it gets wild. The Band-Aid fix is thicker oil, hoping a denser cushion masks the weak spots. But thicker blood doesn't heal a broken bone, it just flows slower. And asking lifters to keep napping and waking faster than a hummingbird's heartbeat? That's still bending the same paperclip, just with greasy fingers. So the big question lingers. If the design keeps bending, how long before the next snap? Walk into one GM service center and you'll see engines ripped wide open, waiting for brand new guts. Walk into the next bay over and you'll hear a tech tapping a keyboard, flashing a fuel management update, and pouring in thicker oil. Same truck, same engine code, totally different prescription. How does that make sense? Owners compare notes online. Some get a free short block plus a loaner SUV. Others leave with a bottled water coupon and a reminder to change oil every 3,000 miles just in case. One woman in Phoenix was told her VIN squeaked past the cutoff date by 17 hours. So no fix, no rental, no mercy. 17 hours? That's a sunrise and a cup of coffee. Then there's the magic viscosity trick. Dealers say switching from 0W20 to 0W40 cushions the lifters and should keep you rolling. Translation, a thicker bandage on the same fracture. But is thicker oil really a cure, or just a slow motion timeout before the whistle blows again? And why does the software patch secretly limit cylinder deactivation at high RPMs, without ever admitting the real reason? If two engines born minutes apart can end up on opposite sides of the recall wall, who drew that line, and why? And when the fixed trucks hit 50,000 miles, will they stay cured or circle right back to the tow truck queue? Keep those questions in mind. We'll crack open the paperwork that maps every lucky VIN and every unlucky one. And the pattern might surprise you. A slim folder of emails tells a bigger story than any press release. One chain shows a test lab engineer flagging abnormal lifter wear at 40,000 miles. The reply? Track, but do not escalate. Cost impact minimal. Another memo, stamped confidential, records a supplier's red ink warning. Recommend redesign or reinforce lifter body. Management answer, schedule unchanged, proceed to launch. Then comes the whistleblower audio clip we're still verifying. A voice says, warranty reserve covers 2.3% failure. We're good. Translation, as long as only 2 trucks in 100 go down before the warranty expires, the spreadsheets still smile. But who decided 2 families in every 100 is an acceptable roll of the dice? And what happens if that failure line quietly creeps to 3, 4, or 5%? It gets crazier. Somewhere in that same file stack is a canceled durability test, pulled with 3 days notice. Reason listed, timeline pressure. What did that unfinished test almost reveal? And how many more red flags are sitting in drafts that never hit send? We haven't cracked every line of the paper trail yet, but one pattern is clear. When cost forecasts and safety warnings bumped heads, the warnings lost. So the next time your dash lights flicker, ask yourself, was that moment priced in months ago? Think this nightmare is parked only in GM driveways? Think again. On the other side of town, Ford owners are discovering their engines can go from smooth purr to sudden clunk without even a warning chime. Over in Jeep country, drivers report bonnets so hot they can fry eggs, right before the temperature needle vanishes into the red. Even luxury badges aren't safe. A few BMWs have surprised owners by cutting power the moment they hit the on-ramp, as if someone yanked the battery mid-merge. Different logos, same heart-stopping pattern. Spotless service records, then boom, silence, smoke, or both. So what's really connecting all these failures? Is it new tech rolled out too fast, cost cuts gone too deep, or a hidden industry playbook that bets on customers never comparing notes? And here's the kicker. Each brand has its own carefully worded explanation. Service bulletin here, software patch there, maybe a quiet warranty tweak if you know the secret phrase at the counter. But are these fixes actually solving anything, or just hitting snooze on a bigger alarm? If your driveway badge isn't GM, should you breathe easy or start worrying you're next in line? Keep watching. The puzzle pieces are about to line up in ways the marketing teams hope you never notice.
Pull into the service lane and the script starts before your door even closes. When was your last oil change? Do you tow heavy trailers? What kind of gas do you use? Notice the pattern? Every question nudges the blame toward you, long before anyone even pops the hood. If the engine light is still on, they scan and print a code sheet. If it's off, some owners swear the tech just clears the code, hands back the keys, and says, couldn't duplicate. Behind the counter, a laminated cheat sheet guides the chat. Line 1, avoid terms like known issue or common failure. Line 2, offer fuel system cleaning, extended warranty, or thicker oil package. One former advisor says they called it the triple play: upsell, deflect, dismiss. Meanwhile, the customer invoice stacks labor hours higher than a Jenga tower. Ever wonder why diagnostics alone can hit 3 figures? And here's where it gets wild. 2 owners, same problem, same dealership. One leaves with a brand new engine covered under goodwill. The other pays $8,700 out of pocket. What flipped the switch? Mileage? Mood? Or maybe the magic words buried deep in a service bulletin most drivers never see? Dealers say they're just following factory guidance. Factory reps say they trust dealer discretion. In the middle, drivers juggle rental fees, hotel bills, and tow truck invoices while waiting for someone to take clear responsibility. So ask yourself, when your check engine light blinks tomorrow, are you walking into a repair shop or a sales pitch? Keep that thought. The final piece of this puzzle shows what happens when regulators try to break that circle, and why change moves slower than a dead truck on a busy freeway. Regulators say they're, quote, monitoring the situation. But monitoring doesn't stop a stalled truck in the fast lane. Investigations crawl while odometers keep climbing. Class action lawyers are circling, gathering stories like yours. Yet court dates sit months, sometimes years away. So what can you do today, before the next drive turns risky? First, grab your VIN and punch it into the government recall site. No match? Don't relax. File a complaint anyway. Every new report turns up the heat. Second, keep every receipt. Oil changes, inspections, even that tow bill you hope you never need again. Paper is power when the finger pointing starts. Third, ask your dealer for the test results in writing. If they refuse, note the time and name. It sounds small, but a single refusal can tip an investigation. But here's the bigger question. Will accumulated complaints finally push regulators to slam the brakes on quiet fixes and force a full recall? Or will the industry's revolving door of updates and thicker oil keep rolling until the warranty clocks run out?